I am losing my mind. I have been running around in circles for months now. Days, weeks, months, I don't even know anymore. It's been far too long. There's a singular piece that I'm missing. I just, I know it. There is a singular piece. One thing that makes everything kind of click together when you realize it. Just feels out of reach. I know about the message of the trees that there's not always something, that sometimes it has nothing. But I feel like there is something here. I feel like there is something here. There are so many pieces here that should fit together, but there is something in the center that just doesn't link up. It's it just recently LCM has started asking for contracts, a kind of deal. I don't even know if I can access it alone. No, you cannot. Okay. But basically defending a darkness artifact, a crux, from a horde of incoming Vex. And LCM isn't being subtle about its purpose. It wants to study it. It has a project with this darkness artifact. What that project is, I have no idea, but it is something that it's planning. Probably ties into its plan that it discussed at the top of the third instance, but I still don't know what that plan is. I feel like that's the piece that I'm missing. Like I just need to wait for it to make its own move and then react. No, no, I'll find no answers in Truth to Power. I don't know what to do. I see the board in front of me and I don't know what move I need to make. I barely understand the pieces of play at all. LCM made a deal with Ziva Wrath. The bullets we fire that we get from those machines tithe to Ziva Wrath. Every kill counts as one from LCM. It's no longer our own. Ah, fuck. I've stopped dealing with the machines. I get my ammo from, what's her name? Hawthorne? Yes, Hawthorne. Funny that I go to her basically every day and I still don't know her name, but that's besides the point. But now this destabilization, I've run it a couple of times and mostly of my own curiosity. At first, I was clueless. I couldn't even understand what the cat was saying, but after looking back through my audio files, finding exactly what it was saying, it's clear as day. It's tricking us. It does not have good intentions with these destabilizations. But my biggest question is why is there darkness technology on Venus? Venus was heavily damaged by the Ahamkara during the Dark Ages. But other than that and the Ishtar Collective studying the Vex, there's no other form of darkness there, and the Vex there aren't so divisive. In fact, LCM calls it out specifically. These traitors should have joined Soul Divisive, and then calls them heretics. I can't exactly understand its full command, but it does say something about heretics. Which means that they are not sole device of Vex, which means they're not under the direct control of the witness, or the worship of the witness. Which means we don't need to worry about them with the Kazier and Sivu. What we need to worry about is if they get their hands on darkness technology, which is strange that they're actually trying to get it. Because, actually, no, it's not strange. The Vex want to study everything. But... Shut up! Still. The Vex of the Soul Divisive would worship it, but these Vex... What were the Vex on Venus? I can't remember the name of their faction. Out of character, Argus spotted. Anyway, I can't remember the name of their faction, but they're not dedicated to the discovery of the darkness or the worship of it. No, they're just the basic Vex. They just exist. Actually, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. They study time. They study the flow of history and manipulating reality, and it's time space bullshit. I don't understand time space. Like I don't get it. I've dealt with this complex far too many times. It's still frozen on the inside. I've dealt with this complex far too many times, and I understand that it doesn't really cooperate with, existing in a reasonable space. Like, I enter a small hallway through the mirror maze, and I end up in this massive factory. I go down the stairwell and I come back up and I'm in a completely different area. 3 different versions of it. I understand that the complex does not work in space. But I understand it as a thing, as a concept. I understand how to navigate it. I understand what is going on inside of it. This place is... The question remains if it's still operational. What exactly is going on here? It seems like I'm the only one worrying. That no matter how many times I bring my concerns to light, that this deal with Siva and trade with LCM is just killing us. I feel like I'm just brushed off as a completely insane person, which I am. But I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. But except for this one singular piece, I have it all written down. I have it all on a notepad. There's still some, well, lots and lots of questions. But I don't think I'm going to get an answer for a lot of them. I don't know who LCM's boss is. I don't know why Zivu went to LCM in the first place. We don't know why this factory, F-02, we don't know why it connects to the complex. I have a theory that the complex is basically just a connection point between places that no longer exist, though that could be disproven with time. What else? What does LCM want with the Cruxes? I have a feeling that ties into its plan, but I don't know when that's going to happen, and I don't know what it's planning. I also don't know what the fuck Puck is doing, but it might just possibly be some weird radioactive entity like an Aphelion or something like that. What does LCM use our Glimmer for? I tried asking. No one knows. How does LCM have so much Glimmer to sell? It's getting it from somewhere. It's a transmat line. There's no way in hell it can hold that much Glimmer instead of a tiny little vending machine. Who else does LCM trade with? I asked it that and it gave me no answer. Everything else I already know, but they say a singular thing, but I doubt it's a singular thing. I doubt that there are many, many more pieces left to connect, and I can't understand it. And I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like no matter how much I try to bring to light that the other Risen are just going to brush it away and continue feeding into this ticking time bomb. It's only a matter of time until LCM gives Ziva enough time to actually reconnect to her throne world. She was disconnected, but I doubt that she has no other way in. There has to be a back door. There's always a back door. But maybe that's what the Cruxes are for. Maybe that's the thing that LCM is planning. Maybe it's trying to reconstruct a way for Xivu to reconnect to her throne world. Though, maybe that's why Xivu went to LCM, because it's connected to the complex. It knows about places that shouldn't exist. It knows about places outside of the material plane. But still like that. Maybe that's why Xivu went to LCM, because it knows about places like the complex. It knows about how to connect things in ways that shouldn't. Maybe she's looking for a way back into her throne world, which would regain her immortality and make these ties even more potent. But then the problem becomes, how does LCM know this? It says that it was built off-world, but that doesn't really specify much. It doesn't specify it was built outside of the Sol system or just off of Earth. That theory is likely completely wrong, but I said that about LCM making a deal with Xivu in the first place, and ended up being right, and still no one fucking believes me. But and then they just go on and on. Maybe I am the only one who cares. Maybe I'm driving myself insane for nothing. I mean, wouldn't be the first time. Still, I refuse to give up this easily, no matter how trained it makes me. It's better than the alternative of just giving in. I can't go back. I can't give up. If I give up now, then she wins. And I can't have that. Not being that stupid fucking bitch beat me. If not out of valor, then of spite. But I'll have to be careful about my movements. There are discussions that any kill defeats Xivu Arath, though we aren't waging war per se. It is more looting, honestly. It's more scavenging than war. The only real war we have is with Xivu Arath. We aren't actively working to, well, we weren't actively looking to destabilize enemy formations or anything like that, but now, with these cruxes, there could be an interpretation that is a form of war. To go to direct battle, purposeful battle against the Vex in an attempt to destabilize whatever they're doing with those cruxes on Venus, which I still don't understand. Why is there darkness technology on Venus? That should be the Ishtar Collective. Did Clovis Bray leave something behind whenever you kidnapped something back in the Golden Age? That wouldn't make sense. We would have discovered that whenever we met. Whenever the Guardian met. What's her face? In the Academy all those years ago, they would have totally discovered and stumbled upon the darkness technology. Hell, they met her in the same room that were dealing with these cruxes. The main fire team killed an Atheon frame in the Vault of Glass. The door to the Vault of Glass is also where we're fighting. These are significant points in history. Significant points in history against the fight of Atheon and the control of the Vault of Glass. Though I'm not entirely sure about this history. I wasn't there to experience it. I was only risen a few months ago, and I don't know much. All of this is coming from documentation we salvaged from the Ishtar Collective. There's not much I know. I don't know the connection between the Vault of Glass and the Black Heart. I know that the Soul Divisive worship artifacts of darkness and the Witness in the attempts that they think that this final shape will be them. The Vex seek to become the final life form in all of existence, and they do so via studying everything they can and just simulating it, finding new battle tactics, finding new possible avenues. That's what the Vault of Glass was. It was this form of rewriting time so that they could win. So that the Guardian couldn't be risen, I believe. Again, I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to go back and check the collective, but it still isn't right. It doesn't work. There's something that doesn't work. I don't know why there's darkness technology on Venus. I don't know why, but I now have a theory as to why LCM wants these darkness artifacts. It's a possible connection to the Ascendant realm, but I mean, that would be why it wants to go after them in the first place. Why it knows to go after them in the first place is because of the complex, because it knows of places that don't abide by time and space. It And the more we feed into it, the more power we're giving it, and then what what? What? What do you want? What do you want? I'm monologuing. Still, I don't know. I'm going to lose it. I am actually going to lose it. There's so much here, and I can't find the singular piece that connects it all. It just it lines up, but it doesn't line up perfectly. There's something that's keeping it from all slotting into place where we can actually put an end to all this fucking madness. Shut Xevu down once and for all. Stop worrying about if our kills are actually tithing to a hive god of war. And go back on to how things were before. Oh, I'm taking that shit, okay. Just go back to how things were before. Before that goddamn vending machine. You've done nothing but cause untold suffering, you stupid fucking cat. Well, I guess I better get back to my examinations. If I'm missing something, it'll be down here. This is where it started, this is where it will be, this is where it'll end. For now, I end the transcript.